and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll chat with you. Because she's trying to
Before we get in, where is she? Okay. We have one of our employees, but she's much more than an employee. She's a friend. She's been with us for 23 years, diligently taking the minutes, putting up with all the things she puts up with. And myself personally, on behalf of the committee, I want to thank her very much for her service, for her work for the school department. And that person is Margie Caranci. Margie? And Margie, I have a citation from the school committee offering its sincerest congratulations to you, Margie, for your 23 years of dedicated and outstanding service. The school committee extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued good fortune. The very best and good health to you, Margie, and you and your family. All right, there are no public comments on the agenda items 6 to 11.
And no votes taken in executive session.
Okay. And there were no votes taken in executive session. Next.
Next, Chairman Marciano and members of the school committee. This month, we have a presentation from Maryville Elementary School and Mr. Bruce Butler, and students from Maryville Elementary are going to give you an overview of their school.
Well, congratulations, Margie. I'll put in a good word with Santa for you. Oh, well, good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bruce Butler. I'm the proud principal of Maryville Elementary School. Tonight, I'm here with a few fifth grade students to highlight just a few of the many great things going on at Maryville School. These students put a brief PowerPoint presentation together and would like to share it with you. Okay, Jabril?
Every Wednesday, we pick 4 kids to do each side of the building. We have the flag, which 2 pigs get picked every trimester to put it up in the morning and take it down at the end of the school. We also have the morning line, which the safety patrol. If you see my belt here, we put them back. We bring them to their line, and we report any problems and tell them if they were good or not. We also have announcements. 2 kids get picked every week to highlight and say the important stuff, what's happening to our day, and tell them what time school ends and the lunches. And for 5th graders, the highest in the school, we try to be the best role model we can. Thank you.
Nathan?
Hi, my name is Nathan. I'll be talking about the Maryville Cars program. The MTSS program is a multi-tiered system of support. School-wide expectations posted in all areas of the school, lunchrooms, classrooms, and bathrooms. Earn incentives for yourself and classes. We can get a reward for our own good choices, and we can earn class rewards like extra recess, electronic time, or other rewards.
Phyllis?
Hello, my name is Phyllis Clinton, and I will be talking about the summer reading program. Maryville participated in a 4-month reading program and read the most minutes in the state and in the city of North Providence. We read over 456,500 minutes. Every student was provided with a login and password into the Scholastic website to put in their minutes. And we were presented a plaque by the first gentleman, also known as the governor's husband.
You want to see it? She wants you to look at it. They're going to look at it. Nice. Isabella?
Hello, my name is Isabella, and I'm going to be talking to you about the PTA. Some things that the PTA provided for us is our assemblies, like Slim Goodbody. They buy us planners every year to write our homework in. They provide in-school events like Fun Friday, Holiday Shop, and Lunch with Mr. Butler. We have family events like game night, movie night. We collect food and clothes for the Thanksgiving baskets to give to families that don't have it a lot. And we adopt a family that doesn't have a lot, and we buy presents for them.
And finally, Seema.
Hello, my name is Seema, and today I'll be talking to you about Feinstein Good Deeds program. First, we do letters to the troops, which is we make nice, kind letters, and we send it to either sick people or people in the military or army. Second, we do a food drive, which is stores like Stop and Shop donate to us and give us food, or some of the kids donate food like cereal boxes, like cereal, soups, chicken, anything. We do a clothing drive, which is not old, but slightly old clothes. They donate, and some kids donate their clothes also. There's buddy reading, which is third graders read to kindergartners, or sometimes the kindergartners try to read to the third graders. And last but not least, the 22 Acts of Kindness is Ms. Picacci's 5th grade class has a sheet of paper with 22 things that you can do to be kind with at home or in school. You could either write it, draw it, say it, anything with it. And then there's the Feinstein shirt that Mr. Feinstein gives us.
Yeah, go ahead now. Well, I told you it was brief. We wanted to just highlight a few things that we do at the school. The kids put this presentation together. They wanted to say thank you and wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the students from Maryville School coming here this evening and sharing with us what they do and their accomplishments. And certainly, we all know Mr. Butler as one of our best principals in North Providence.
Mr. Butler, I think what I appreciated the most is that you had students come and do the presentation and could speak to all the things that were happening in the building. I think that speaks a lot to your leadership and what's happening with the culture of your building. So nice job.
Awesome. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thanks, thank you guys.
Chairman Marciano and members of the school committee, that was a nice segue into all the wonderful things that happen in our schools every day. And once a year, our students do take a state assessment. And Lisa Jakes, our assistant superintendent, is here to go over the results of that once-a-year assessment.
All right. Tuck it out. It's the holiday season. I know. Mr. Bully, your folks are welcome to stay and certainly welcome to leave. I won't take it personally. I do not have candy canes or a hat, so it's a tough act to follow after that wonderful presentation. Thank you all. Jabril has actually been a leader over there at Maryville and participated in our facilities educational vision planning, and so he's got a lot to say. So keep an eye on that, Jabril, back there. Raise your hand, Jabril. Yeah.
Who said they fifth graders are role models.
Yes, he is a wonderful role model, and we appreciate all he's doing over there, advocating for Maryville and the kids over there. So I should borrow his hat. That's okay. That's all right. So I know that I sent to you a long PowerPoint, and I will briefly go through parts of it. Most of it was for your reading pleasure, so I'll just highlight pieces of it. But certainly, in no way do I mean to go through this quickly and not, emphasize the importance of the results. But at the same token, I gladly invite any or all of you, if you have any further questions or wish to discuss the data in more depth, I'm happy to do that with you if you so choose. So, as you know, we took our first year of PARCC assessment last year, and actually the results should have gone home with your children today. So that was the plan. Hopefully everybody's results went home with them today. And this is, again, is just for, I know you are all aware of it, but just for our viewing audience, and it will go up on the website as well, where we've come from the beginning as far as PARCC and adoption of the standards. And so last year was the first administration of PARCC. And so RIDE was nice enough to present us with some summary data from RIDE's perspective and the state perspective, and then we'll also go through our individual data. But again, just to remind you that this is our baseline and that this is about feedback and not judgment. So although we will discuss some of the concerns and highlights from the feedback, the piece to keep in mind is our next steps, how we're addressing, and how we will just continue to improve and move forward. So again, it's feedback and not judgment in any way. So in case you are not aware from all of the press releases, about 36% of the students statewide met proficiency in ELA, 25% in math. And so again, a lot of the results from PARCC mirror some of the other state and national testing that we do, both in NAEP testing and SATs. So no one is extremely surprised about the results because it is aligned with other assessments that our students take. So one of the major concerns, certainly at the district and state level, because this was a new test, some students did not participate, and participation does count towards how we, in a sense, grade our schools. And so across the state, there was an overall percentage rate of 90% in ELA and 91% in math. And it depended. Some grades were much lower and some grades were higher. The state, looks for us in order to be a commended or a exceeding school, we need to be at that 95% rate. So, it is certainly a concern district-wide, especially at the high school. If you look at the numbers there, our percentage rate overall for the district was 89% in both ELA and math, but a significant drop in those numbers at the high school. And so we've been named a commended school, but this would be certainly an area of concern moving forward that we need to keep an eye on. And so looking at the state and district results, again, we are not going to cast any judgment. It is important to look at the results and look at how we're going to move forward. So again, this was the first time that it was computer delivered. The entire district, grades 3 through 11, all took the assessment online. So the students came home with their report cards today with their results, and so you'll see that this is similar to what their scorecard looked like this afternoon. It has the levels and what they mean, as well as the cutoff scores for each one. And so As far as our ELA scores go, statewide, they were at about 36% met expectation. And again, it depends on the grade level, and there's just a large variance between grade level and proficiency level. So more importantly, though, looking at North Providence results, 31% of our students district-wide met expectations, 40% at the elementary, 29% at the middle, and 35% at the high school. So looking at our data, it is certainly has been our focus as we've been marching on through getting ready for the holidays. When we return from the break, we've been getting ready to focus our energy specifically on the middle school levels. So for your viewing pleasure at your leisure, this slide shows statewide the range from grades 3 through 10 on ELA for each scoring level. But importantly, this is North Providence results by grade level for the elementary schools compared to the state. So you can see that we do have some schools that excelled in one grade level and had some difficulties in other. And in some areas we were very close to the state, but in general, we were below the state average for ELA. The last column, the brown column, is the state versus the schools. At the middle school level, the last column, the blue column, is the state. So you can see in this case, except for grade 8 at Birchwood, we were below the state level for ELA. And at the high school, North Providence actually high school did very well compared to the state and exceeded the state's state average. So moving on to math. Math, we had some struggles as well. About 18% of our students met the expectations in math versus 25% for the state. And again, we had 26% in elementary, 13% at the middle, and 14% of the high school. About 80% of our 8th graders took the regular 8th grade PARCC, and 20% of our students took Algebra 1. So the students of this year taking algebra, there was some question whether that would count towards graduation. And so due to the changes that have come from the legislature, this group 8th graders will not count towards the graduation requirements. And at this time, it is looking at the current 7th graders, but that is subject to change. And again, when you have a moment, there is the graph for the state, for math, and then for algebra, and for geometry. Did I skip? And so here are our results for North Providence. Again, the brown column is state. So as we pointed out last month, you can see that blue column is Greystone, and they did very well in math. They exceeded the state average in all 3 grades, which was a wonderful accomplishment. So again, you'll see that there's some ups and downs in that data, and this will help you kind of target the grade levels. At the middle school, again, the state average is the blue column, and the orange and the red are the middle schools themselves. We're struggling certainly in 8th grade math. Birchwood did a wonderful job in 8th grade algebra. And then looking at the high school, again, both the Algebra 1 and geometry did in fact exceed the state average. So again, I will post this on the district's website, but this link I believe is already up there. There's a link that will take you so you can compare any school in the district to any school in the state or district to district to see how we did. You can filter it by grade level, gender, IEP students, et cetera, if you're interested in a more detailed comparison. So again, when you get your results, families, you know, it's an opportunity to look at the strengths and weaknesses of your child and work with your teacher and your child to help address those areas, and for teachers to be looking at the data to continue to improve our instruction. Schools have already been looking at the data, and certainly at the district, we've been looking at the data, and RIDE will be offering additional supports to us as well. So RIDE is actually setting up many different workshops. Melinda and I and a team of administrators are actually attending the PARCC interpretation workshop tomorrow morning. So we will really get into really diving into our data and taking a good look at that. So several of us will be attending that tomorrow. And then they'll also be doing different focus groups, both in the community and for teachers at the school level for content area. So as far as our next steps, and I believe this is my last slide, we have been spending a lot of time looking at the data. We've been meeting with school improvement teams and grade level teams to really focus on our next steps. And in doing so, we've decided to try and focus a lot of our resources to the areas needed at the middle school. So both myself, our math / induction coach, and our curriculum and technology integration specialists, we're really working closely with the teachers. So we've been doing some walkthroughs and collecting data and visiting classes to try and figure out how we're best going to support the teachers so they feel comfortable really going through their data and working on the areas that we need. At the elementary levels, Stephanie Ganem, our Title I coordinator, is really focusing on certain grade levels. So you saw that those bar graphs were going up and down. So the grade levels at certain buildings, she's spending more time focusing on those grades as opposed to trying to spread herself too thin. And Chris Jones and I will be working with special ed to really start working on co-teaching, especially at the middle level, to really get at the students that are not meeting expectations. So we will continue to review our curriculum changes and constantly be reviewing. We are also been the recipient of a $600,000 grant from Rhode Island Department of Ed to work on our pre-K to 2 math instruction, which we are hoping will continue to grow up and help address all of these concerns moving forward as our students are coming up. So we're excited about doing that project. That's a 1.5-year project. Teachers will be getting a lot of professional development as well as a lot of coaching in the classroom. And so obviously we'll continue to do walkthroughs and use that data to help guide our next steps. So we are looking at focusing and again, feedback, not judgment, and just looking to move forward from here.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
The schools that do better in, like, say, math or whatever in our district, okay, is there collaboration with the other schools, in other words, as to why that school did better and whatever in the district? Is there collaboration on that?
Well, so last year and this year we have grade level meetings and have started some of that collaboration grade level wise. I know, certain schools do a little more structured plan on how they meet by grade level, but certainly that's something that Bruce is one of our leaders of those grade level meetings, is to be looking at the data and looking at why things are working the way they are. So yes.
We can sort of expect the scores to go up.
We would certainly love for the scores to go up. Again, it's still something new, and we're hoping to see a change. We're still just getting since we just got the scores back. I don't know if we'll see a significant change this year because the school year, by the time we really get going into it, is half over. But we certainly hope to see them moving in that direction, and certainly for the following year.
Thank you very much.
I just have, Anthony, may I go?
Gina?
I just want to double check you. I know you said that everyone would have their reports by today, but is there a way to, because this is where parents will reach out to us and say, I heard reports went out, I didn't get mine, enough province is small enough where people will know. So if we could just send an email.
I guess let me clarify with the high school. The high school is the only one that did not get sent out today because they send all of their stuff through mailings. So the high school theirs will go out with the report cards.
Next.
When they come out at the quarter ends in January.
Right.
If at any time anyone wants their child's score, by all means call guidance and we can certainly give that. But because they do a lot of mailings and it's expensive too, because high school students don't take home any handouts. So it's going to go home with that mailing. But elementary through middle, they all should have gone home today. I saw Birchwood students with them in hand today. So and I can verify with 2 elementary principals that they did go out in their schools.
Parents at the high school would like the reports. They just have to simply call and come pick it up.
They could certainly do that. They can certainly call and get their score,
Okay.
and then the reports can be sent home,
And
certainly.
then we're confident that all the elementary schools and the middle schools went home today.
Yes.
Okay.
Bruce and Lori, correct? So they,
So we're gonna just make sure because
it
we'll
always
have
gets
one
to that
person
end.
send them home, and that's the parent who will say, "Hey."
So they were sent out, and so if they don't get them by Friday, please, by all means, call your school
I
principal
would say
and
by
get
Thursday
that.
only because I just want to make sure they have them. The other thing
They should
is,
be there.
Lisa,
Sure.
I want to really think about the lobbying of the Department of Education around the accommodations and the fact that we had our students, and the entire state only had students allowed extra time if they were special ed or if they were English language learners, which I felt was an unfair practice. And I was told by Phyllis Lynch that would be looked at again. And I know we're lobbying on Providence's side, but I think when you have students who are working productively, who are told that they are done, I have a huge problem with that. So that is an accurate representation of what a child can do. That's a time limit issue. Now, if kids aren't working productively, great. Time is up, you're done. But if we have a facilitation in a classroom, I would hope that in North Providence, we're pushing back on those accommodations to ensure that we're making sure our students have what they need to show proficiency.
Right. So unfortunately, so what was nice about, in a sense, NECAP was that it was a smaller group at the table, and Rhode Island was one of the leaders in kind of planning that out. With PARCC, it's a larger consortium, and so they've actually been arguing about that since the inception of PARCC.
They've already made
Yeah,
some changes across
already,
states about what they're going
absolutely.
to accept as proficient. So I'm guessing we can push it.
I'm sure. So it changes daily. It changes monthly. But right now for the one testing session, so again, we've already moved from two testing sessions to one. The time is a little bit longer. It does build in for some extra time, but
And if you need us to put the school committee behind it and put a letter in writing that says, on behalf of the North Providence School Committee, we're lobbying, right, we're asking, right, to relook at the accommodations issue around more time.
Yeah, I'd be
Okay.
happy to.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Next, Madam.
Thank you, Lisa. Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the financial report as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Cataldi. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
We don't have any homeschool request. The next item is be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the field trip requests as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Palmieri. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
The next three policies are going out to vote because this is the third reading. So be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the staff hiring policy as submitted.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mrs. Picard. Who seconded?
Everybody.
Mr. Andriozzi and the entire school committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the parent organization policy as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Cataldi, seconded by Mr. Andriozzi. Discussion?
Discussion.
Yep.
I just want to make sure that, number one, it gets put on the website, and number two, if we could make sure that a copy that we asked for them to pull that out at the next parent meeting. I just want to make sure that we have like implementation plans, so they understand the policy is now official.
All those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the Naloxone policy as submitted. Blah.
So moved by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Cataldi and Mr. Andriozzi. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the personnel matter employee discipline as submitted.
Motion by Mr. Iannetta, seconded by Mrs. Picard. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
We do not have any bids this evening. We do not have any resignations this evening, but we do have a retirement. And so be it resolved at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the retirements as submitted.
So, all right, motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Ms. Dianetta. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
Next item is, we do have leave of absences as submitted, so be it resolved at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the leave of absences as submitted.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Andriozzi, okay, seconded by Mrs. Pecan. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
Do not have any layoffs this evening, but we do have appointments. And the appointments that we have this evening are Susan Bennett as the interim principal at Wayland Elementary School, Lisa Benetti, a special education resource teacher, long-term sub at Greystone, Karen Burke, and I see her here with her family, a teacher assistant at Centerdale Elementary School, personal assistant in integrated K. Gloria DeNiclia will be the variable clerk in the high school library. Victoria Federici, special education resource teacher. Her assignment's at Greystone, however, she is filling in long-term at Birchwood, and we don't want to disrupt student program, so she'll finish out her school year there. Allison Medeiros, teacher assistant at Ritchie Middle School. Joanne Picarillo, teacher assistant at Stephen Only Elementary.
Motion by Mr. De Silva, seconded by Mrs. Pecan. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted. Next.
We do not have,
If you're here and you were appointed, would you want to stand, please? Congratulations.
Chairman Marciano and School Committee, we do not have any layoffs. We don't have any displacements this evening. We're going to table numbers 17, 18, and 19. The next item is be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the removal of textbooks from inventory as submitted.
So moved?
Second. Moved by Mrs. Pecan, seconded by, who seconded? Ronnie? Ronnie. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
The next item before I ask you for a vote, we did have to make a correction on the calendar. We found out that the 1st of January in 2017 fell on a Sunday, so we could not start school the following Monday on the 2nd because that's considered the holiday. So I would like you to approve the calendar with the edit that we're going to bump up that calendar by one day.
We need a motion to amend the calendar.
Motion made.
De Silva, seconded by Mrs. Pecan. Discussion, all those in favor? Have it, so voted.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote the use of property as submitted.
Second?
Okay,
Discussion.
who made the motion?
Us.
Mr. Cataldi, seconded by Mr. Andriozzi. Discussion.
Yes.
Mr. De Silva.
Quick question. Did this go to Mr. Williams first?
Mrs. Valone always checks with Mr. Williams before she schedules
The
these.
reason I'm asking is there was another request to use this gym at a later date, and we were told basketball playoffs. And so this would interfere, because it's an earlier date, with basketball playoffs. I'm not trying to hold anything up. I'm just trying to make sure that you don't have two things. I mean, that's a big tournament. I was involved with it for many years. I know Rhode Island Interscholastic League's last regular season scheduled game is February 20th. This is the following week. Now, if there are on-site playoffs, normally the class playoffs and the state playoffs are at different sites.
Rod, the superintendent's going to check and make sure there's no.
I think we need to. I mean, let's approve it, but we got to make sure there's not a
Right.
conflict.
Right, okay.
For the tournament, yeah.
we need a
all these
motion.
People come to the tournament, and with basketball players, it can't happen.
Okay,
So motion made to approve this, but you need to check with Glenn
right.
just to make sure.
All right, motion by Mr. Silva, seconded by Mr. Hanetta. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it, so voted. Superintendent will check to make sure there's no potential conflict.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the list of bills as submitted.
Motion by Ms. Picard, seconded by Mr. Iannetta. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. So that's approval of the minutes. Gina?
I make a motion to approve the executive session minutes and seal them pursuant and applicable to provisions of Rhode Island General Law 42-46-4 and 5 for November 18th.
Motion by Ms. Picard to approve the minutes, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So
And I
voted.
make a motion to approve the general session minutes for November 18th as well.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. So voted. I think a motion to adjourn is in order. We are adjourning at 8:30.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for coming this evening, and Happy New Year. Good health to everyone.